follow college football at any level beyond the surface, you know there is a huge difference between the stories that fans talk about and the stories that actually matter inside a football building. The news cycle gets caught up on drama and rumors, and where which coach is going and what job they're linked to, but inside an SEC facility, everything is routine: structure, game prep, development, and the grind of surviving Saturday after Saturday. The SEC is not a place where you can casually skate by, and Ole Miss is not some disposable job that coaches are expected to walk out of the moment something shinier appears. It is not a stepping stone. It is not a group of 5 job where people shrug off when the coach takes a better offer. It is the SEC. It is the toughest, most competitive environment in college athletics. When you take the Ole Miss job, that is a dream job. You accept the pressure that comes with it, you accept the expectations, but most importantly, you accept the responsibility. You accept the fact that you are leading an entire program through the hardest schedule and conference in the country. That is why the Lane Kiffin situation hits so differently. Coaches leave jobs all the time. They retire, they get fired. They move up to the NFL or to a better school from a group of 5 conference. But they jump conferences usually in the off season. Everybody understands that this is part of the business. But what Lane Kiffin did, leaving Ole Miss in the middle of the season to take the LSU job, is something entirely different. It is not normal, it is not routine, and it is not something that programs are built to endure, especially when Ole Miss is in the midst of its best season in the last 100 years, and finally is fighting for a college football playoff spot. You cannot overstate what a move like this does to the internal rhythm of a football program. A team is basically a machine built on precise timing. Meetings stack into practices, practices stack into film sessions, and film stacks into install, which all goes into game day. And the head coach sits at the center of everything. The head coach doesn't just call plays or organize schedules, he sets the tone for the team. He drives the culture. He gives shape to the entire week. If he walks away, especially mid-season, the whole machine stutters. When he leaves entirely mid-season for a rival school in the same conference, I have to imagine it's horrible for those Ole Miss student athletes. To understand the impact, you have to start with players because they are the ones who live in the building every day. Take someone like Jackson Dart. People on the outside see a talented quarterback who transferred from USC and rebuilt his career at Ole Miss. But inside the program, Dart is not just a player. He's the centerpiece of a complex offensive system that is tailored specifically to his skill set. Quarterbacks do not operate like plug-and-play pieces. They develop inside a system that has to be stable and consistent and have support of the coach. I have to imagine this is a difficult situation for current Ole Miss quarterback Trinidad Chambliss, because he's now without a head coach and it's his first year starting in the SEC. Lane Kiffin leaving in November strips all of that stability away from Chambliss at the exact moment when the season's stability matters the most. He is preparing for the college football playoff. He is trying to cement his NFL future and trying to lead this team through games that define his entire college legacy, and suddenly the guy who designed everything around him is gone, and gone to a rival, gone while the season is still unfolding. And I haven't even touched on the internal consequences for the staff on Ole Miss. A college football program is not 10 coaches just sitting in a room. It is dozens of people whose careers and families revolve around the head coach. Analysts, recruiting staff, strength coaches, nutritionists, the list goes on and on. These people are not millionaires. They do not have buyouts. They are not insulated. They moved to Oxford for Lane Kiffin. They built their lives around the idea that they had at least enough stability of finishing the season. When Kiffin leaves mid-season, every single one of them enters survival mode. They don't know if he's going to bring them to LSU. They don't know if the new coach is going to fire them. They don't know if they need to start calling other programs immediately and looking for a job. They still have to show up every day and prepare the team and act like everything is fine while worrying about whether they will have to uproot their family again. LSU is not just a random program. It is one of the biggest and most resource-rich jobs with some of the most aggressive recruiting programs in the country. They are a direct rival to Ole Miss. Ole Miss and LSU go after the same players, the same regions, the same transfers, and so on. When Lane Kiffin leaves, LSU immediately gains an advantage. Kiffin knows Ole Miss's roster intimately. He knows who might be unhappy. He knows which players are potentially going to leave. He knows strength and weaknesses. That information is priceless in the SEC. Even if he doesn't try to weaponize it, simply having it tilts the competitive balance. And Ole Miss cannot fall back on the excuse that it is a stepping stone job. That is what makes this move so jarring. Programs like Western Michigan or Memphis or Appalachian State, any group of 5 school that has their coaches have some sort of success, can expect them to leave pretty soon after the season. They don't like it, but they know it's part of the cycle. Ole Miss is not that kind of program. It has SEC resources, competition, and expectations. You take the Ole Miss job knowing that it is a real destination, not a launching pad for your career. Leaving mid-season from an SEC job to take another SEC job, especially when your school beat LSU earlier in the season, throws the entire idea of stability for the players out the window. The biggest question moving forward is not about Lane Kiffin himself. It is about whether this moment becomes a blueprint. Because if SEC schools normalize poaching each other's coaches in November, the sport becomes even more chaotic than it already is. Imagine Alabama circling a coach in October. Imagine Texas trying to poach a coach from Missouri in late October. Imagine Florida pulling someone from Missouri with 2 games left. The consequences would be enormous. The transfer portal would explode, recruiting would become more volatile, and programs would live in constant states of anxiety. Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss mid-season for LSU was not just a career move, it was a statement about timing, leverage, desperation, and how much power one coach has to reshape the trajectory of an entire program overnight. And if the SEC is not careful, this will not be the last time this happens.